Welcome, everyone, to Reason Speaks. This is Ed Reason. Today, we're going to discuss self-awareness. Now, why is self-awareness so important? Because in actuality, all your happiness, your health, your wealth, and your stability really actually start in a self-awareness position. So we're going to go into that discussion a little bit, and then we'll build into this because we're building on concepts here to help you really come to actualize this potential that sits in you. So what is self-awareness? It's really just the ability to reflect and understand your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Why is that important? Because if we're not aware of that, we're certainly not able to manage it. And that's a really big thing for us today. And I'll even speak for myself in that standpoint. Until you're able to really harness that self-awareness and be able to manage those behaviors, you're going to find yourself floundering and not finding that purpose that you're really looking for. And it's, like having what they call that inner mirror where you can kind of observe yourself objectively from the side. And when you do that, you really see yourself differently. Because when you're seeing yourself from an objective standpoint, you're actually seeing yourself from how most people see you. And that takes away a little bit of that being ingrown in how you think and how you believe. And it opens you up to a lot more of the experience that's around you, the life and so forth. And this awareness really allows you to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses. Understand how others perceive you and how they see your behavior aligns with your values and your goals. Why is that important? Because people certainly judge you and perceive you based on they certainly judge you based on how they perceive you. And your values and your goals come out in how your being is happening as you're going along. And that self-awareness allows you to really control those values, and they get to see your goals really coming out in you. So really, why is that important? As I said, it is so important because until you're self-aware, you really have lost that sense of control. That sense of really being who you are. You're not led by your emotions. You're not led by your behaviors. Here's a great example. You're going along, you're singing in your car. It's a wonderful day. You're feeling great. And all of a sudden, someone comes and they lay on that horn behind you. All of a sudden, you're triggered. Now, immediately, your emotion shifted by something totally outside of yourself. If you were in a much more self-aware position, you'd be able to stop that reaction relatively quick and understand this person cannot steal your peace, which is exactly what that is. They're stealing your peace. You're allowing someone outside of you to alter who you are and what you do. It's crazy, but it can happen just that quickly. And self-awareness, having that sense of self-awareness, which we'll show you how to build, it allows you to capture that before that happens. Now you're able to redirect that thought relatively quickly. And again, it's a practice behavior. It's a practice skill, but it can certainly keep you much calmer and keep you much more aligned with what your purpose and, that self-awareness that you're trying to really stay within and keep you calm. Now, within self-awareness, there are really a couple main components. And all of these components and this self-awareness is so important because it's one of my 3 pillars, which I think are key to be successful and happy and kind of getting the body, the mind, the health, the spirit, and the wealth that you deserve and which is within you. That's why these components kind of build into my 3 pillars. And self-awareness is the first pillar. And there's some components within self-awareness that really make a difference. First, there's what I call the internal self-awareness. Now, this is really that understanding of your own internal world, your thoughts, your emotions, your motivations, why you're doing what you're doing. It's about knowing why you react the way you do and how your experiences shape your feelings. And as I just mentioned, you're driving along traffic, somebody honks the horn, instantly your experiences can change your feelings in a moment. And you can go from calm to rage. That's how road rage happens. So that's why it's really important to have that internal self-awareness. Be aware. And again, this is a learned skill. It's a practice that you develop over time. And it really can shape your outcomes dramatically because you're just not even aware that it can happen sometimes and what it really means. Another component of that is the external self-awareness. And this is understanding how others see you. Now, we think people see us the way we want them to see us, or how we're putting out these our actions, our behaviors, and so forth. And that does impact people. But external self-awareness, this is when other people see you, you understand how they see you that way and why they see you that way. It really involves, recognizing the impacts that your behaviors, how they affect those around you, and people seeing you from an outside, that perspective that they get. So your behaviors, just as we mentioned, going back to the car analogy, you honking the horn, that behavior, look how it triggers other people. So you got to kind of keep in your mind that not only are you aware of that, but they also can control that, or that they're perceiving you based on how you control your behaviors and how you act. And people are really highly self-aware and are more likely to make, thoughtful decisions and manage their emotions well, and even build stronger relationships. So all of those things are really components for us as people in our interpersonal relationships, in our business relationships, in our financial relationships, in our family dynamics that really have a huge impact. And most people are reactive, not self-aware. And that's where it gets us into a lot of problems. It can get us into a lot of dangerous situations. It can cause us to make really bad financial, really bad relational decisions because you react very quickly. Your wife says something to you and you react instead of stopping for a moment, gathering that internal self-awareness based on her external self-awareness and stopping for just a moment, taking 5 seconds to just think about it. Gathering the awareness of what does this really mean? Now I'm much better at making a much more thoughtful decision. So what does that thoughtful decision really mean? It means that you've actually planned your reaction, not just reacted. You haven't just said something that you regret. How many times have you said something that came off the top of your head that you really wish you hadn't have said? I've done it a number of times. And almost immediately as it comes out of your mouth, you're like, no, I don't want to say this, but it's already happened. That's where awareness really allows you to harness self-control. And again, it's a skill that you develop over time. So, self-awareness can save you from a lot of danger. I'll give you a great personal example. There was a situation in my life where I was really at the verge of suicide. And it's a hard subject to talk about. But on the verge of suicide, and had there not been some, I'll say, universal divine intervention, it would have happened. And this is a pivotal point we'll talk about later in more podcast why. But if I had been much more self-aware at the time, I would have never got to that point. And this is where it's a powerful journey of developing that self-awareness, because it just really enhances your personal growth. It helps in making better decisions. You foster much more fulfilling relationships. And, there's a lot of strategies that you can use to do that. And I say, strategies are great tools, but a tool is only as good as your ability to understand how to use it, and more importantly, when to use it. And these are all things we're going to start building on. So, stay with us in this journey. And this is some of my personal story. These things that I've developed, I've done through a lot of personal soul searching, a lot of pain, and a lot of growth. And it has been wonderful change. Again, the amount of growth that you will see in yourself will astound you. It'll take you to levels that you never thought you could get to. But it starts with this self-awareness, internal and external. And we'll walk through all those over time. We're building concepts and precepts on each other. And it's very, very important because, again, if you have the right strategies and you have the right tools used in the right sequence, you can get the things that you want. Now, how many times have you gone to a great motivational speaking or something that you thought, this was really wonderful, and you learned something, but it never really grew or made a difference? I can tell you, I think a lot of times that's really just coming from, you may have had a great, and it may have been a wonderful tool. You just may not have known how to use it or where to put it in to make it work. Because a lot of these things that you're learning will work, but they'll only work in conjunction with a lot of other things. So what we have to do is we have to remember that, some of these strategies are meant to cultivate these abilities. So first, let's start with practice mindfulness and meditation. Now, I know meditation to a lot of people sounds like woo-woo, that type of thing, but trust me, meditation is really just understanding yourself. It's about calming yourself. It's about capturing your mind, having that clarity, understanding and noticing, the internal shifts and understanding how that affects you in your internal world. So, this is all part of how we're able to manage our reactions. Self-awareness, ideas or thoughts that we may or may not control, some that we do, but always whether we control them or not, whether we think them directly or indirectly, as they come to us, we learn to control and manage them. And this is really key, as you learn. Again, do not think this happens overnight. It happens over time. But going back to meditation, why is meditation so important? Because it learns you to calm your mind. It learns you to get to a place of momentary pause where you can see that clarity. So you're not reacting to the horn honking, to the spouse yelling at you, to someone being discourteous or mean. We don't control these people. We do not control the situations that happen to us for the most part. But you have 100% of control over how you react to them. And your reactions determine your outcomes. They determine what happens in your life. How does this really manifest? Again, if you react badly, it can really affect you. So having that clarity, that pause, that meditation, and meditation is a process as well. You're learning to do it over time. As you get better, you become better. Again, you don't automatically learn something once and you're a master at it. But take a moment. Here's a great thing to do. Take one moment to think about meditation. Read a book. Just take a cursory understanding of meditation and stop for a minute and see how long you can go in a room, sit in a very comfortable position and relax and calm your mind. See how long you can keep your mind quiet without random thoughts, without experiences, everything happening to you. And you'll find out it's very, very hard initially. Everything happens around you. But as you get better and you learn to do it more and more and you learn to focus on it, then you start feeling your breathing. You start hearing, you can actually hear your pulse. You can really experience your body in a different way. Again, I don't want this to sound like woo-woo stuff. It's really not true. It's really just cultivating and understanding the awareness of the control that you have. And the meditation helps you gain that control. Very, very important. So the next thing you have to do with this is you really have to kind of reflect on your experiences. Take time each day or week to journal. Write about your experiences, your emotions, your reactions, and your thoughts. Why is that so important? I used to think that was kind of, again, one of those crazy concepts. How can journaling really make a big difference? It's just writing stuff down. Well, until you start to experience things and really understand them and get into the depth of them, you really don't know. So, what I remember the very first journal I did, I put, and again, for each person, it's a different one. We'll walk through these paths that I did as we go through. I just want to start with self awareness. But in this one, I had put pictures of exactly where I wanted to see my body in a few years, exactly where I wanted to see myself financially in a couple years, exactly where I wanted to live, and a couple of things that I thought at that time, again, it was very rudimentary at the time, where I wanted to be or goals, directions that I wanted. 10 years later, I happened to find that old one and I pulled it out. And I was amazed that not only had I achieved all of those, but I had gone much further. And that's why it was really important, because it allows you to have that reflection. But when you're journaling, you're getting your emotions, you're getting your stuff down. And then whether it's a man or a woman, this is important for all of us. You're getting these things down. So now you can come back to them and say, wow, look, I remember when this happened. Look how I acted. You'll find a level of growth and maturity that you've changed dramatically. And it's really kind of fulfilling, because now you're actually seeing and getting growth. You're actually seeing these goals accomplished, because days can go by and things can pass, and experiences that you don't really understand or value are really, really critical. And you can't remember them all. That's why you write down. Here, when I say journaling, write down, I'm thankful, your gratitude. I'm grateful for this today. Here's what I like to see today. Here's the things I'm going to actually want to happen today. And here's all the things that I would like to do today. And I'm going to be a better person. Whatever feels right to you. And again, this is a journey. You're starting slowly. But if you can't even take time to write in a journal the things that are important to you, and you don't have that much time in the morning, then you really need to think about aligning your priorities a little bit differently, because it really doesn't take that much time. I promise you, you waste enough time in your day that you can do that. And again, it sets a pattern to start with. Again, you're able to reflect back, but you're also able to see what you did, and it gives you that perspective. Now you're able to understand what triggers you and the values. It really takes you to a much deeper level. The next thing is that you have to do is we have to look at, we need to seek feedback. And these are, from trusted people that we value. Now, also remember, feedback doesn't mean it's 100% true. It's their perspective based on their reactions or actions to you. Now, that's why I said it's very, very important that you want to have trusted people do that for you. Family, friends, people that you really value their opinion, that you know that they're looking out for your best interest. So that's why it's really important, because you don't just go up to random people and ask them for feedback, because they may not have the they may not have developed enough trust to have that kind of input or say into your life. So these trusted people, they can be colleagues, but ask for honest feedback. And sometimes it's good to get those, we'll say, those negative things out there, or even the positives. You'd be surprised what you'll hear sometimes, but always keep in the back of your mind with a little grain of sand. I have to be open-minded to these opinions and ideas and their thoughts, because it will make a difference. It will change you over time. But this allows you to get outside perspective from people that care on what they think's important or what they see. Now you're able to make adjustments, and you're able to make slight changes. And again, it sounds like a lot, but you're already doing these things. You just don't recognize these patterns that are happening. You're actually doing these right now. You just don't know it. We're going to help raise that awareness so that now you're being more intentional in the things you do. You go up to people and say, you know what? I said this the other day. How did that come across to you? You'd be surprised that you can say, like I could tell everybody out here, I'm giving away $1 million. A number of people are going to hear that he's giving away $1 million, and other people are going to think something completely different. Yeah, the money shower, it can change anything, but it's not necessarily always what you're saying, but it's how people interpret it. That's why that feedback really matters. So when you're getting that feedback, also, another great thing is notice your habits and your reactions. Really pay attention to reoccurring reactions or behaviors, especially in those moments of stress or conflict. When you're really under the gun, that's when people and real character exposes itself because it's always there. It just has to have that little bit of pressure to really be seen. So, these patterns really often they indicate deeper beliefs and insecurities. So that's why it's really important to do that. So that's why I say you don't really know somebody until the pressure's on, because that's when the true person really can be seen. And that's why when you're in a self-aware position, you're noticing that in other people, but you're also able to notice that in yourself. And again, this is a practice skill. We'll show you how to develop these skills so that you can do that. And it will make a complete difference in how your clarity and how your actions and your conflicts are. You'll really start to gain control of it. Then you really need to stop and say, and I need to ask myself, why do I react this way? Or what need or fear is, hiding in this action? Why did this just happen? Because things just don't randomly happen. There is something working in your background. And that self-awareness allows you to be aware of that, because next time that happens, you're able to say, okay, I know why I did this. I was afraid, or I was insecure, or I didn't understand. Now you're able to reach out when that happens and change that narrative a little bit. You're able to say, okay, I said this because I was insecure. Well, why was I insecure? What was the real trigger on that? This person or this thing didn't have anything to do with it. This was something internal. So now again, you're really getting that self-awareness. You're really digging deep, and you're capturing not only who you are, but what you think and what you believe. And it really can change your life in ways you have no idea. So challenge your beliefs and your assumptions. You may not always be right. And especially in this really highly charged political time, everyone's very much on edge. But it's okay to have your beliefs and assumptions challenged, as long as it's done with reason, it's done with a little intuition, and you use information. Please don't always search out the same places for your information, because you're going to get the same information. It's not going to challenge you. It's not going to move you at all. And that clearly isn't going to make you a better person. Even if it's right, it will never make you a better person, because you have to move forward. So really the question is, if they stay aligned with who you are, or if they come from past experiences or influences. So why did that, what really caused that? Are these things really true? I mean, where did this come from? Please remember, being flexible with your beliefs can help you adapt and grow. It's not taking anything at face value. It's making assumptions. It's listening. It's growing, taking that external feedback, taking that internal feedback, keeping that awareness. Again, when you talk about this, sometimes people think this is woo-woo and they want to disconnect. Trust me, these things are life-changing. They can make your life better, and they don't cost you anything. They just cost you everything. What do I mean by that? Is it will change your life, but it's not something you're not already doing. It's just something you're not aware that you're doing, and you're not really controlling it. Getting that will make a difference in your life, and things around you will change, the people and you. So a great thing a lot of time is when we're talking about meditation and it's a great thing to do. If you haven't done it, I challenge you to practice it. Try it. Spend time alone. Solitude is very powerful for self-awareness, because it allows you to process without outside interferences. When you're just in your own mind and you're thinking, you're getting away from the noise, you're getting away from other people, you're getting away from all the things that distract you. You're never able to really listen to that quiet voice inside that calms you. You're never able to do that inter-reflection, because you're always working outside of yourself. So you're never dealing with the things that can change you. You're dealing with things that change you, not things that you can change. So use this time to understand your interest, your values, and aspirations without distractions. Now you're able to say, does this make sense? Does this ring true with my spirit? Does this provide the energy that I'm looking for? Is this going in a direction that's going to help me get the goals and achieve what I want? Very important. Next, you really have to observe emotional triggers. The car horn, the spouse yelling at you, somebody calling you a name. All these things don't matter. They just matter because you make them matter. And when you feel strong emotions, pause and explore them. Think about it. I know this is really hard, but this is where self-awareness and reflection matter, because you got to stop before you act. And, we're connected to past experience, unmet fears, realizations, all these things that we just don't know. They're always working in the background. That's why it's important. So when you have a strong reaction, something triggered it. What are you going to do? Are you going to control that trigger, understand it, and make a rational choice? Awareness will help you with that. Understand emotional triggers can help you respond more thoughtfully in the future. You're getting better at this. Now you're able to practice. You should, practice self-compassion. Like yourself. If you don't love you, no one else will. And I'm not talking about you're the greatest thing in the world, but learn to appreciate your value. Know what you are, know who you are, and know what you can accomplish. And you've got to develop that internally. That self-awareness can help bring that stuff up to light. It helps you understand different realizations. You're able to approach these moments with compassion rather than judgment. It does matter. Also, you have to remember, self-awareness is a journey, and it's okay to stumble along the way. Be grateful. Integrating this practice, you can develop a clearer sense of who you really are, and you're much more than you think you are. You're much more capable than you believe. The outside noise is confusing you. It's not allowing you to really see what's right in front of you. So understanding your emotions and gaining control over your reactions and your life decisions. How great would that be? How much would that change your life if you could really start controlling your decisions? And now you're the master of your destiny, not reacting to it. So what does self-awareness do? It helps you transform your skills, for personal growth. It helps you become more self-aware, deeper understandings, motivations, strengths, weaknesses, all these things that are in every part of your life. You make better decisions because that self-awareness brings clarity of values, desires, goals. And you truly know what matters to you because you're making those decisions. You're able to improve your emotional intelligence, enhance your relationships, and you increase your confidence. Your mindset grows. Every part of your body and your mind will change. You become better focused. Your productivity will go through the roof. Wouldn't you like to have a lot less stress and anxiety? This is a great way to do it. You become, more importantly, a clarity in the purpose of your life. Now you really have directions. This is what really are game changers in your life. All of these things are, as I said, self-awareness is one of my first pillars in my 3A process that allows you to really gain control of your life, personally, health, financially, emotionally. Is it a journey? Absolutely. Is it one you can do? Absolutely. You were made for it. And again, these are just giving you the right tools at the right time, teaching you how to use the tool and when to use the tool. And when you do that, you will change everything in your life. This is a journey. It's a process. Do not be afraid to fail. Failing is growth. Just keep doing it. It will work. And again, we're going to have more material on this and how to do this because it will make all the difference. And if this really resonates with you and you're ready for that change, you deserve it. Are you ready for it? Are you ready to start becoming that person you're meant to be? Live the life you're meant to live. Live financially where you're meant to be. It's all doable. You're just as good as anyone else, and we can get you there. If that resonates with you, please take time to like and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Click on on our button to be attached when we release new material. This is all meant to move you forward, open your mind. You have unlimited potential, and it's in each one of us. How do we open it up? We're going to show you how. Now, again, this is a journey, and we're going to do it step by step. Be patient, understand that you have more in you, and we will bring it out. Again, reach out by Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like and subscribe. Enjoyed it. Look forward to the next one. Be well.